listening to Florida Songwriters Association Podcast. Your main source for music industry news, networking, and business education.
Welcome to Florida Songwriters Association Podcast. I'm your host, Steve Lane, and my guest today is Mr. Will Covington. Will Covington is a music producer and a Grammy Award musician who has toured with Raw Soul Express, Betty Wright, Omari, Wizzdom and B.B. Will Covington, tell us more about yourself.
First of all, let me tell you that I started in the music industry in 1965 playing behind the Ink Spots. A lot of you people out there may not know them, but people my age do. So I did that up until 1969. 1969, I formed a group with a few of my friends that were called Raw Soul Express. And we ended up recording a song, and we decided that we wanted to go ahead on and, be one of the super groups, which it took a while to work towards that. But we ended up being able to get a record deal in 1972.
So in 1972, you received your first record deal, but how long have you been in the music industry?
If you can count from 1965 until now, that's how long I've been in it.
Well, tell us, at what age did you start playing the drums?
I started playing drums at 5 years old, but I started playing professionally at 15.
Well, what are some of the highlights of your career playing with some of the artists that you toured with?
Some of the highlights of my career was being able to play with Raw Soul Express, and we got a chance to play with a lot of major stars. We did shows with Kool and the Gang, with some of everybody. And when we played with them, we was able to do small tours. We ended up playing with them until I left that group and actually began to do the business more so than everything else. I had some of the other exciting times and things that I had was like going to different countries, being able to play. Nothing can express the way you feel when you got one song that you're able to work 2 years off of. And that was amazing, because not too many groups get a chance to work one song 2 years, and tour like that.
Okay, well, it's time to play our first song, and that song is Get Up and Get Freaky.
Yeah. Oh, let me give you a little instance before you play that song. That song was a song that a friend of mine who was in the band, he was a keyboard player, and Chris Perkins, he wrote that song. And that song had got us more play internationally than any of the other songs that we did.
All right, you've heard it. Get Up and Get Freaky.
Hey!
listening to Florida Songwriters Association Podcast.
Your main source for music industry news, networking, and business education.
Welcome back. That was Get On Up and Get Freaky. My guest today is Mr. Will Covington, music producer and Grammy Award musician. Will, what was some of the success you've had with your personal groups?
Well, we had Raw Soul Express among with that. That was one of my personal groups. But also in 1980, we had a major hit with the Wizzdom Band. We ended up putting out a song, and that song went, we sold over 1 million copies of that particular song, working with this record label that we was on at that time. And also in 1982, we did a song called After Loving You under the name Omari. Omari, we picked that name up actually because that was my son's name, so I didn't want anybody to be able to go ahead on and kind of, piggyback off that name. So we named the group Omari, and we had a major hit that went worldwide. And matter of fact, the song is still playing today, and it became an anthem in Germany. It really became an anthem over there. And it's one of the songs that kept us going, kept us afloat, kept us living,
Well, tell me, what year did you win your Grammy?
1985.
And what was the artist you toured with?
B.B. King.
1985, you won your Grammy. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it was a shock because when you record a song, you don't know what it's gonna do. All you hope is that it just be good. It be a song that make you some money. But it was a song that made us money, and it also gave us credibility, and it gave me a status that I never thought I would reach as a drummer by just being affiliated with him and playing in the studio with him. I was a studio drummer. I was not his show drummer. So a lot of times people use studio drummers that don't go on the road with them. And that was the situation that was created for me. And when we first heard that the song, matter of fact, not the song, but the album had won a Grammy, we didn't know. Me personally, I didn't think nothing of it. I just thought, that somebody was just pulling my leg, but it was real. And the excitement after that happens to you is unbelievable. You have to get one to know how it feels, especially when you get it. And then everybody began to recognize you for having it.
Well, let's take a break. And our second song is called Caught Me by Surprise.
listening to Florida Songwriters Association Podcast.
Welcome back, and that was Caught Me by Surprise. It's time to thank our sponsor, Inferno Music Group, for sponsoring Florida Songwriters Association Podcast Episode 12. You can contact Mr. Will Covington at infernomusicgroup.wc@gmail.com. My guest today is Mr. Will Covington, and we are discussing his career as a musician. Will, was there any other interesting things you would like to tell us about when you were playing drums?
Yes, well, what we did, we began to, I played so much in so many different places that I had experiences that we would begin to do so many shows, and so many people would begin to call us that we couldn't complete all the shows because it was only one band. So what we did, we formed a booking agency, and that booking agency spun off to the point where we were able to get other groups and get them jobs to begin to work in the industry. Yeah, I mean, it was like, I didn't know how to do anything else but play drums. So, and I started learning the business, like I said, too. And once I started really learning the business with the help of Gwen, everything just started turning around, turning over. And we decided to go into promoting shows. So we promoted some major shows. You know, we've done a lot of major shows during the 70s, 80s, and even in the 90s. I mean, I just had a great experience. I wouldn't give nothing up for it.
Well, it sounds like you've got some great experience throughout the years. Will, tell us about your record company.
Okay, well, the record label, we have two. We had EGI Records at the beginning, and we had that up until, we had it from 1980 when we first formed it up until 2005. And we did all kind of secular music, and we did gospel music on that label. And we were able to put out different groups. We had some good products and some great hits. And what I call a hit is anytime you sell over 100,000 records, that's a hit to me, you know. And then especially when it's your own label making the money. So that was something that was very good for us. But in 2005, my son and I, we decided that, hey, wait a minute, let mama do her thing, you know, with the gospel, and we do our thing with the secular music and do what we're doing. Because my son, he's a hip-hop artist, and he wanted to do his hip-hop thing. And by my wife being the way she is, she didn't want to have any hip-hop stuff unless it was Christian hip-hop on her label. So that's why we formed the other label, too, so that we can put out any kind of genre of music that we wanted to. So we went into that, and I have some very, very polished groups that works on the label now. You go through your ups and downs with different groups because a lot of them, they don't understand the business. So when certain things start happening, they tend to listen to other people who are not even in the business, telling them how to make things work. And they have no idea. And they come to you with no money. So that'd be a major factor too. You know, they come with no money, want you to spend yours. So when you spend all your money, then they gone. Or when you don't spend what they think you should be spending on them, but they don't come with anything.
Well, what are some of the releases you have scheduled for 2021?
The Caught Me by Surprise is one of the releases that's coming out. We had put it off until the first quarter because of this COVID-19 virus that's out there. So we put it off to 2021 in the first quarter. And we also we got another album that's coming out with a rock band called Zeg. I think you have that song, or maybe not. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna put that out in 2021. And then I got a new artist named Logan. He's a hip hop artist. He came to us a couple of weeks ago, and we decided that we were gonna go ahead on and sign him to the label and put out his hip hop project in 2021. And he have what I would think are some great songs. And my son, of course, Omari, we're gonna definitely put his music out, you know. So We have about 3 different projects that we're working on that are finished albums, though. They're albums, but we only promote one song at a time. So we're not trying to promote every song at the same time. We just do one song at a time and see what happens. We put them on, first thing that we do, we put them on all of the different platforms like Spotify, iTunes, Diesel, Tidal, we put them on all those different platforms. We try not to do too much for as doing too much digital stuff, because now this is beginning to be the physical age again. And so a lot of the product, especially with my rock group and everything, and also with my artist Nina Sky, which we did Caught Me by Surprise with, we're going to do those songs on vinyl. We're going to do digital too, but we're going to do those on vinyl. But the hip hop stuff is basically going to be digital.
Well, vinyl is definitely coming back, and digital is leading the way. Well, let's take a quick break, and our final song is called Silence.
Hey, what's poppin'? It's your girl Cardi B.
This is Drizzy Drake, your number one Songwriters Association podcast.
Welcome back, and I'm your host, Steve Lane, and that was Silence. My guest today is Mr. Will Covington, and we are discussing his career as a musician and Grammy Award winner. Will, tell our listeners again how they can contact you.
You can contact me by going to infernalmusicgroup.wc@gmail.com, or you can go to our website, which is imgrecords.net. imgrecords.net. And you have a form on there that you can fill out if you want to get in contact with me that way, or you can go to the email that I just said, infernalmusicgroup.wc@gmail.com, and you can contact me in those two ways there.
Thank you, Will. It was a pleasure having you on the podcast. And if you are a songwriter or artist who would like your songs to be played on Florida Songwriters Association podcast, please send your songs to indiesongs@flsw.org. I want to thank you for listening to Florida Songwriters Association podcast, and a closing remark before we depart. Every successful person has a painful story, and every painful story has a successful ending. Accept the pain and get ready for your success. Thank you.